Good morning and welcome into DragRace Central. I'm your host, Randall Shue.
And I'm your co-host, Lance Shue.
Well, I'm so excited to be here again this morning.
That it is.
I love being here, hanging out with you and talking on the radio. But when the alarm clock goes off, I was awake waiting on the alarm clock to go off this morning.
You go over there, double check and make sure it goes off.
Well, every now and then, one will lie to you, two can't lie to you. Well, I was up waiting for both of them to go off. And they went off. I'm thinking, man, the bed is so warm, and it's early. It was 3:45, I think, when I woke up. But I laid there till 4:35. So had to watch Big Old Man's Garage. He's got his new video up. Had to watch him in his Malibu down to Wilkesboro, North Carolina, to a drag strip. So anyway, had to watch his video this morning. Of course, I'm a big follower of him and Cletus McFarlane and DragRace Central's YouTube channel.
Right.
Had to watch him also.
You got to see what they say on there.
Well, Landon, I turned ours on. I cracked me up. That's bad, ain't it?
That it is.
Now, I can't wait.
You sitting there waiting to hear what you say?
Yes. I said I can't believe I said that.
Because I've been working backwards. I've been going farther and farther back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you forget a lot of the things you say after a while.
Well, one of the things I've been fortunate in my life, I would work on something, have something really stressful I'm working on and leave work in the afternoon. I would get to work next morning. Oh, man, that's what I was working on, and I could completely turn it off. And that's a skill that takes a while because you lay in the bed all night worried about some kind of problem you're having, trying to fix a car. But I finally got to where it didn't bother me a bit.
Yeah.
Next morning I'd have one of them like a cattle prod hit me. Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yep. The epiphany of forgetfulness.
Well, I worked hard at it.
Yeah.
It's like being able to hide your own Easter eggs. You and I are sporting some new apparel this morning.
Fresh.
I mean,
fresh off the press.
Quite literally.
Yes.
Last night when you came in, they're still being manufactured. We got our new Trixie sweatshirts on, hoodies on this morning. Trixie is the name of the Corvette. We got all the Trixie logos done, and Hottie was over there at the house last night working on them. We got all that stuff done, and we be looking good.
Yeah. Hey, if you sell the Corvette, does these go with them?
We may have to. Yeah, we may. Nah, we're not doing this.
I was about to say, I think some free hoodies along with the car at its price is fair.
Okay. If you pay full retail, we'll hook you up with a shirt.
Full retail, you get 2 free hoodies.
Yeah, because if you pay
No, 4, because you got Gina and her daughter has one.
So we got 4. Yeah, it'll come with 4 sweatshirts. Because if
we're just sweetening in the pot right now.
Well, it's like at Milo's Hamburgers. Get that extra piece of meat on there.
Yeah.
Because if you pay full retail, what I'm asking for the Corvette, I'll give you 4 sweatshirts. Don't you worry about it. Because you won't have no money left.
Yeah.
That's not like that. I might cut you
down. Be fast and warm.
Yep. Speaking of the Corvette, we will be sporting these our new outfits. Is that the outfits? No, it would be our new apparel at the World of Wheels. World of Wheels is coming up in 3 weeks.
Yes, it comes fast.
First weekend in February. We are excited. We've got a 10 by 50 spot. We should be in our same location we were last year.
You know what the real excitement is?
What's that?
Big Bad Breakfast.
Oh, yeah. We get
it's tradition at this rate.
We go set up on Friday night. We set up Thursday. I think it's Thursday we move in. Whatever the day is, we move in to get everything set up. Friday we go down and spend that. We come here, do the show on Saturday morning, and then we go to Big Bad Breakfast. Eat breakfast over there, and then go hang out with our friends at all day down at the World of Wheels. Always, this is the start of the season.
It is.
Personally, I'm not a big car show guy. they got the crying baby on the hood of your car, but the car show has changed a lot over the years. There's more. There's some trailer queens there that are so nice that
it would be a shame if you ever got them dirty.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to. They're that nice.
Right.
But there's also some pretty cool cars that like our race cars. If you look for mistakes in bunged up places on a race car, you will find them because we beat these things like rented mules.
Right.
So we're pretty hard on them.
They're pretty workhorses.
They are, and we want to encourage everybody to come by, and we'll set the kids inside the car. We got everything. We should have it kid-proof where you can't mash a button and something really stupid happen. We'll have all the.
I'll bring my other nitrous bottle down. That way, both the bottles in there be fake. How
okay.
About that?
Well, yeah, I do.
That way, you don't have to have a real nitrous bottle sitting in the car.
Okay, we'll have the nitrous bottle pillows. We'll put those in there. Anyway, we'll make sure if these young kids want to get in and experience what it looks like and see inside the car. We put some kids in the car in Montgomery.
Yes.
We had a line of kids. That was neat, and it told me, kids just want to step in. So, no, let me show you got to do when you as an adult. This is the way you've got to get in these things. So, you put your head in, roll your rear end in, or you put a right leg in, and then your head and your booty, and do the Macarena, and the whole works. Now getting out, I got to call 911 unless you're really motivated.
Yeah.
For me, getting out is kind of a hoot. I did get my new.
When you get you a gym pad, like ones we use for wrestling.
Oh yeah.
That way.
I just flop out.
When you flop out.
When, not if.
Yeah. At least I don't have to hear your mechanical knee hit the pavement, because that hurts me.
Well, this year, I've got the new steering wheel release.
Right.
Did you order those extensions?
I have not. We got to get that.
Okay.
Ordered.
But anyway, if I got a new Motion Race Works steering wheel disconnect for the car, and that will give me about 6 inches of steering wheel or steering shaft. That move that stuff out of the way, give an opportunity to get in and out, because what it does, instead of just a steering wheel coming off, there's a steering wheel, a coupler, and about 5 or 6 inches of steering column comes off with it as part of the disconnect, and that'll give me an opportunity to get in and out. And I can get out, but it's if I were in a hurry, it's like me running now. I run at the same speed. I'll waddle across the parking lot. It's the same speed. Like
waddle.
Yeah, it's like them women downtown, come up to a red light, and the rather large women are they're walking across the street in front of you, and the light turn red, and when they get to going faster, they just move more. They're not really going faster. They're just kind of wiggling their arms. They scooch faster.
They scooch faster.
Yeah, what do you call it, a scooch? They be strolling. They be strolling, and then they'd be scooching. So anyway, so I pretty much do the same thing. Slow and fast is the same speed for me now. So, World of Wheels coming up. I'm excited about. We should be, if we're in the same location we were last year, lower level. Let me see. You come in the South Hall, about even with a concession stand, all the way across the hall. Yeah, that's what I'd call it. Close to the mezzanine. That's a new word. You ever heard of that? Mezzanine? Look, it's a patio on the inside is what a mezzanine is. Kind of.
How much extension you want?
There were 3.5 and 5.
You want 5?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're looking it up now?
Yes.
I think that's a standard 5-bolt pattern adapter. I'm sure it's what that is.
How about adapter extension? It costs more than the 2.5.
Yeah, the Motion Race Works was $100.
This is $69.
Let me take a picture. You can hold it up on the radio. Let everybody look at it.
We got a camera right there.
Oh yeah.
Whenever it gets done loading.
Let me see what that looks like. That does look like it.
Okay.
When we get after the show, I'll order that thing. Landon has got a camera set up here in the studio, so when he downloads the YouTube video, you can see our smiling faces.
Yeah. You can see how socially awkward we look compared to how we talk.
So you think we're talking really cool, and we look like we talk good.
We're gonna look like we sound good on the radio.
That's it. Well, hey, look, we've got a caller. Do we have time to take a caller right now?
I believe we should.
Let's go ahead and let's go out to a caller. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I appreciate you taking my call. I have a technical question. I hope that you can help me figure out.
I'll try.
327 Chevy 30 over, 11-to-1 pistons, 64 cc heads with a Duntov cam, just the old regular engine you'd build in the early 60s. I'm concerned about the octane of the gasoline. What would you recommend on that for a street engine?
The VP 110. You built a bunch of compression for a motor that you're going to be driving around. 11-to-1 with a cast iron head. You're going to have to do total timing of about 32 degrees. The 91 octane will take care of it. Use a bunch of initial timing with not a lot of total timing. You understand what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think you probably around 8 to 10 degrees on the initial.
No, really, what you've got to do is go total timing. Now, if you back the timing down, obviously it's going to make the motor a little bit lazy. So what you do is change the curve and put a bunch of initial timing and not a lot of advance. And that way you can run like 32 degrees total, and you'll never know it on driving the car because the response will be good and all this. And you can go down to with enough initial timing, you can go down to 29 or 30 degrees. And the response will be good, and you won't have any weird problems. You get the spark timing too low, you'll get some exhaust gas temperature issues, and there's some weird problems because anytime you lower the timing, it actually richens the mixture. That's kind of weird, isn't it?
One quick question: the VP octane booster. What do you think about that? Would that help on the octane as far as the gasoline?
Hey, that octane booster they have raises the gas by 8 points, as opposed to the 104 octane raised at 0.8 of 1 point. That VP has got a great octane boost in this. A quart, it treats about 30 gallons, and I'm trying to think, it costs $20 or $30. It's very inexpensive for what you get. The octane booster will work.
Yes.
Because, if you got a 91 octane, 8 more points, hey, we're approaching 100 octane. That'll work, and it's high quality octane.
Yeah, that sounds good. Could I ask you one question?
Sure.
I know you've mentioned your dad several times. What kind of car did he run back in the days? Of course, I'm guessing I'm probably about his age, and I just wanted to see if I could remember the car in particular.
Well, my dad actually, I'll be 65, my birthday.
You'll be a first-generation racer?
I am a first-generation racer. How about that? Now, my dad, they fool with old cars and all that kind of stuff, but he never actually raced. But I've been doing it for 40-plus years.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, I've had, good Lord, if I had some cars. The Corvette I have now is the first Corvette I've ever had. I've had 23 280Zs, 240C. Well, I never had a 240 and 280Zs. A bunch of configurations, small blocks, big blocks, blown big blocks. Just all kind of stuff. In had a purple 240 years ago. I've got a blue 280 now. and it hasn't run in a couple of years. It's out in the. I would say I laid it out in the field. It's actually in the. It's in the staging area for the next project. Everybody's
what about
got
the 55? You mentioned it occasionally, and
yes.
I'm always crazy about the 55, 6, and 7s.
Yep, it is a 7/8 scale, all fiberglass tube chassis, 55. It's got a 605 cubic inch engine in it, Power Glide 410 with a Dana rear end. It runs 580s on the motor because we got it set up to run nitrous, and just on the motor runs 580s, 123 miles an hour. On nitrous, it'll get your attention. Generally, they pick up close to a second on nitrous, but that's a handful. Now my Corvette's a '53 model, kinda. It's a reasonable facsimile of. It was never, nobody ever made car payments on this thing. It's a fabricated piece, and it's got a 711-inch motor in it.
Well, that's amazing. Of course, I'm a good bit older than you, and it's hard to imagine that it's came that far. But I guess they always said cubic money is what made them run. So
cubic dollar. Rest of it don't mean squat. You put enough money in it, you make a building fly. Put enough money in it.
Well, I sure appreciate the technical information. Look forward to seeing y'all at the World of Wheels.
Well, hey, make sure you come by and speak to us. We'd love to talk to you.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Is it about time for us to take a little break? I appreciate everybody calling in. I love to do technical stuff.
Does that bring you back to your last show? Or was it 2 shows ago?
Yeah, years ago. That's what I did. People call in with technical questions, and I would answer the questions. Unlike Click and Clack, you call me, you talk to me, and I answer the questions cold.
The only time I can remember before we answered technical questions when Brandon had a question.
About the 117 octane, Brandon.
Yeah.
Well, he messed with us. Hey, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back on DragRace Central. Welcome back in to DragRace Central. We got to say this, 941-1011 is our number. 941-1011 is our number. You want to call and ask technical questions or whatever
you want to learn about, the initial timing versus your advanced timing.
That's it. How about the spark lead?
Right.
That's actually what it is. It's the amount of time the ignition fires before top dead center. That way you can get the combustion process started before the piston gets to the stop, and then the fire gets going good and pushes the piston back down.
Yes.
Now, if too high timing, too much spark lead, the piston is on the way toward the top. It gets compressed real good. The ignition fires, and it tries to push it back down the cylinder. Well, that thing's in a big hurry, and it goes on to the top, and that's called detonation, and or pre-ignition, and that's the sound you call. It's my valves rattling. Well, not really. The noise you're hearing is similar to a hammer on top of a piston, and it's that much pressure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It will knock a piston completely out of a motor.
You will break pistons doing it.
You notice our buddies with the pro mods with the blowers. They'll do a burnout, break the blower belt. What has happened? That thing has detonated, tried to turn the engine backward and snaps the belt. Those belts are $250 a piece. 7 passes is all they get out of a belt. Ouch.
On the Mercedes, I went to go park it one day, and I was going to leave it in reverse. And, it kept rolling forward before I let the clutch back out. And I rotated the motor backwards, kicked the belts off. I spent this was probably a month into owning the car. So I spent about an hour trying to figure out how to get that thing apart so I could put the belt back on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kicking belts off is the first thing that's going to happen. And especially if you have something that's graded like that, where it has a slot that the belt goes into.
Oh, yeah.
Is shear the belt, snap it.
Yeah, that's interesting. While we're doing some technical stuff, ignition timing. The old He said he had 327 with the 64 cc chamber heads and all. That's pretty standard stuff. The old big block with the closed chamber heads, those things would take as much as 42 degrees of spark lead to get it to run correctly. The better the cylinder head, the better quality, and the more later they use less and less timing. Our 600-inch motor under boost on nitrous about 28 degrees. The Corvette 23 degrees. How about the Cloverleaf Honda 5-valve 0? That's how the more efficient, the less lead they need.
Yeah. The 4-valve per cylinder is going to help them a lot.
5.
Well, 5. Yeah.
They got a 5-valve, and it's called a Cloverleaf combustion chamber. 5-valve per cylinder. That's a whole lot of motion going on inside of a cylinder head.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just a little technical stuff, and octane booster is a very good thing. And right now, with the camshafts and all that kind of stuff, you can raise cylinder pressures and effective compression ratio. With the camshaft, he's got a Duntov 30-30 cam, great piece. Mr. Duntov did that for the Corvette years ago. Real rumpy rump cam. Although he is a 60-year-old design, the newer stuff, the Thumper series, will give you the same rumpy rump, but power's a lot better. You don't have the real high cranking pressures. You can spin the engine over 150 to 60 pounds of pressure is about right. You take the you spin it over, and the compression gauge hits 5 times, and that's pretty much how much compression. Divide that by 14.7. That will give you effective compression ratio. And I know that's kind of redneck, but if it was 150 pounds divided by, you got 10 to 1. That's about what it is.
Right.
On our race motors, we will cranking pressures be in the 230s, 240s. Diesel.
Is that 14.7 at sea level?
At sea level.
Yeah.
And you lose for every 1,000 feet, you lose about 1/10 of a point. So it's at 1,000 feet, it'd be 14.6. For every 1,000 feet of elevation, you lose 1% horsepower also.
Right.
That's from old flying days. You keep adding power to get up to a point where you're at altitude. You got that baby wide open, it still won't make any manifold pressure. It just runs out.
Yeah.
But you got to remember that on the way when you're coming down.
You'll have that baby zinging.
Yes, you got to keep backing off on the throttle. Yeah, you'll overspeed some things, and I used to say that aircraft engines are expensive. We got 2 race motors cost what aircraft motors cost. You buy one of them things, you feel like you had a baby.
Yeah.
Breech. It's ugly. But now with when we built our 600-inch motor that way, it was the cheese. We were a big motor. Now, whatever. Now we've got the 700-inch motor. Now, whatever. Pat Musey, or several of them got the 959s. You have to change bore spacing. I think we're about as big as you can go with a 484 bore spacing. There may be a little bit longer, a 748. There's actually a class now with a 484 bore spacing as big as you can go, because the motors get longer. You make more power.
Right.
I
remember my first time seeing one of those things. I was like, "What is that?"
Kind of cartoonish.
It looks silly whenever you because I saw it with the heads pulled off.
Yeah, we're gonna go out to a break, and our half-hour break. We'll be right back on DragRace Central. Welcome back to DragRace Central.
I say what?
Well, I was gonna start singing.
Oh, okay.
But I really should not do that. I tried it before, and you ever heard of a term called caterwauling?
No.
Caterwauling is all the dogs in the neighborhood will start making noise.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, we just had they were talking about, they're singing about the GTO. You know, Keith Lively called here last week. They were going to look at a car. Somebody had bought a piece of property and had an old car they needed to get out of a basement. You know, just get this junk out of here.
Right.
The picture of this car. Now, Keith, if you're listening to us, and I hope you are, give us a call. I want to talk about this Le Mans. This looked like just a car. Been in the basement of this house for apparently a long time. Completely intact car. They had a picture of the hood raised. I mean, maybe the battery's dead, needs a battery in it, and it's a wash job, or dusting, maybe a dusting, because it was not dirty. That was a neat deal. So every now and then somebody will come up with a basement find like that. That is pretty cool. Speaking of neat vehicles, Joey Tidmore up at the home place. They're in Warrior. He is going to sell the '69 Trans Am tube chassis car.
Okay.
They've run this thing. It's got a real Pontiac motor in it. I'm not sure how big it is. It don't matter. It runs 570-ish, 60, 70s. Okay. Very, very good performing. It is a tube chassis car. Probably weighs in the 2,200 or 300 pound range. I certainly don't hold me to that, but it's a round tube chassis car. Nice piece. White with blue stripes. It is painted correctly for a '69 Trans Am. But they, his son was running it, and they're doing side by sides and chasing girls and all these kind of things that young people do. I used to do that. I can't remember why, but anyway. I'm not mad at him. I totally understand. Yeah. But anyway, they're going to sell the car. Joey still got his '69 Firebird. He's had for it was a 16-year-old car. He still got it. Okay. But they're going to sell the race car. So give the home place a call and talk to Joey. And
you can buy a house and a car.
And house and a car. What a deal.
Yeah.
But you go up and take a look at it. It is a very, very nice piece. And as far as money, got to talk to Joey about that. I hadn't got a clue. So I told him I would talk about that. So up the home place in.
So we're not selling. We don't have to know the price.
Well, yeah, it's you make a deal with Joey.
Yeah. If you know the car.
My job is to get you up there.
Yeah.
How about that?
If you know the car, if you want to go see the car, and go look at it.
Yes.
Make him an offer.
And hey, how about this? He wanted to sell it to a real Pontiac guy because he wants to leave the Pontiac motor in it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're purists.
Now, what you go ahead and do is you pay him more than he's asking. Tell him it's a tip for your salesman up here.
Oh, yeah.
At DragRace Central.
Carrying charges. Just send him a big old check. I tell you what, just send him a blank check and he'll fill out the number and surprise you.
That's a great idea.
That probably won't work. We're looking at the.
I'm going to check right now and see if it's still working.
Yeah, we've got a streaming camera going in here. We've never used this thing. It's we're still on. Okay, so he'll be able to.
It's the first time using it. I was hoping it didn't just like auto shut off.
Well, I mean, this is some high tech equipment. Yeah. I had to float a loan to buy this thing. It was like $28, so I know it's some high tech equipment.
Right.
Well, I bought two of them. This might have been. I don't know if this was $28. I bought two of them. Mm-hmm. One of them was $15. I don't know. I've got one. I bought a drone.
Right.
It's got a camera on it also. Now this drone thing, I took this thing out in the yard, fired it up. You got to see. They had some kind of word you had to do this thing. You turn it on. You put
calibrate it.
Yeah, they call it. It's calibrated, but they got some kind of word for it. Anyway, you go to the left, you mash this button. You go to the right and left. All the pairing. It's got to be paired.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I paired it. Okay. I can make it come on. I took this baby out in the yard. I live out in the woods. I'll survive. Well, fired this baby up. It took off, and I can accelerate it. I can make it hover. I kind of moved it. It went around the house and I lost it. Well, I can't see squat, and I can hear it. It's still hovering. If you let go of the controls, it just stays where it was. Well, I can't see it. It's black in the background of the woods. I can hear it, and I finally hit a thing, and it hit a tree and fell. So I found it. Didn't hurt anything. So I've got a drone. We'll be getting some drone footage from some. I don't know what we're going to do, but we'll have some drone footage also.
Yeah.
We'll probably have some drone crash footage.
I got a great idea.
All right.
You do some drone footage inside of the World of Wheels. That way, when you wreck it, you hit somebody's, perfect car.
No. Now, I'll tether it. I'll put me some fishing cord on it. That way, if it gets away, it can't go far.
Remember that brown Rolls Royce with the Coyote motor?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be perfect to hit.
No. I'll be yelling at somebody, boy, I told you not to do that. Some random kid that, here, son, hold this.
Yeah.
I could do that. So, anyway, no, I will not be flying this in the World of Wheels. The cars are way, way too nice. But anyway, at an outdoor event, after I get competent with this thing, we will have some drone footage.
Okay.
This ought to be interesting. Well, we got my shirt says driver on it. Yours says crew chief. And
it does my armpit.
Well, these things. Well, actually, I probably got one size too big for both of us. I bought a 2X, and yours is a large. But anyway, we got these things, and so we've got 2 crew shirts for Hottie and her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be doing. I think she's going to do those today. All the stickers are already made. She's got to do the imprinting or whatever she does, ironing babies on.
These need to be slightly modified.
We look good. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Women who wear the same outfit get mad at each other. As guys, we think, man, this guy has got class. We got
good taste over here.
That's right. It don't take much to amuse us guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, World of Wheels coming up. 3 weeks. Now, Adam McLean is going to call here on the show in the 7 o'clock hour, and I know he'll probably start next week. He's certainly welcome to call in today. We'll talk about the. I don't know who the headliner is going to be for the World of Wheels this year.
They're going to surprise you.
If it's going to be me, they need to let me know.
Yeah.
I got.
You can clear your schedule for being there.
Don't you worry, the schedule's fine. I can sign autographs as Bobby Allison, as I did several years ago. That was just.
I wonder. I'm sure at some point he had to figure it out. He was just so starstruck that he realized that he was about 20 feet off. I don't know if it was 20. It might have been 10.
Well, he wasn't far. We were in a booth across the aisle from Bobby Allison, who was the main liner from,
and we were also right beside a recreation
of his car. I mean, we were in the area. I mean, we were good.
Yeah.
Where we were in the South Hall. When you come through one of the doors, the line to get Bobby Allison's autograph went around us, went all the way to the west end of the hall, turned, come all the way back up to the east end where he was under a little canopy and the little thing there. That's where he signed autographs. They had the spotlights on him. He had his handlers there. I mean, Bobby's the man,
Yeah.
So there's a guy came up, wanted my autograph. I thought, well, that's kind of bizarre.
No. So the full story of this, because you were in conversation
with some of our listeners.
Yes, and then you were struck with that.
Somebody said, hey, this guy wants your autograph.
I was sitting behind you, and Deidre was sitting to your left.
Uh-huh.
And a gentleman walks up asking where Bobby Allison is, and I point over you because this guy's sitting on a stage, so literally he is above your head for me.
Uh-huh.
He, starstruck, immediately thinks you're Bobby Allison, wanting signatures, goes gets his wife wanting signatures.
He had a model car. Would you sign my car? Well, in my world, I'm thinking, hey, I'm kind of cool. I get to sign autographs now. So I signed my name to the hood of his Corvette. So I'm talking to this guy. Then he says,
"Oh yeah." Then he says, "Miss Allison."
He said, "I used to come out to BIR and watch you race." I said, "Uh-oh, that's not who I am." But I didn't say anything. He said, "Would you sign this for my wife?" He had a card, and I signed Bobby Allison did. Yeah. He never knew the difference.
Look, he probably noticed on the Corvette.
That is my signature?
Yeah, he's like, I didn't say Bobby. But
thanks for listening. I was just kind of excited.
Yeah, it was your dream always came true. His dream always came true, and neither of them were right.
Clueless, just absolutely clueless.
And I'm over here just snickering. I was just like,
the whole crowd was that they knew y'all knew what was going on.
Yeah. Well, I had understood where he got the confusion. He was slightly misguided.
Now look, you're my son. You're supposed to protect me from all this. I have protected you from all kind of stupid stuff all these years. It's your turn to help me.
I was trying. I pointed. I said, "He's right there," and sure enough, he was just like,
"Okay,
there he is." I guess he couldn't turn around and read. I don't know what the deal was.
Well,
we were
the fact that there's 200 people in line
away from Bobby Allison with a sign that says Bobby Allison.
Yeah, and the spotlight's on him and all. Yeah.
And apparently, he just didn't want to turn around.
And the line was too long.
He even asked, "Where's Mr. Allison?" Oh, right there where it says Bobby Allison.
Wow.
Hey, he's excited. You were excited.
I'm still excited.
Everybody had fun. That's what matters.
That's right.
As long as he doesn't try to resell that stuff.
It was authentic. It is authentic. It's mine, but it's not his. It says what? Oh,
I got this Corvette signed by Randall Shue.
Who the heck is that?
Yeah, that's exactly how it's going to go.
All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back on DragRace Central. Welcome back to DragRace Central. Let's.
I'm going to take this caller. I'm going to go grab my coffee. It just finished up.
All right, let's do that. Let me go out to this. Good morning.
Well, good morning, feller. How you doing?
Well, hey, bud. Good hearing from you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I've been outside a good bit, and I told Jeremy, I said, what time? He told me, I said, I got to get in and make a phone call.
Well, heck yeah.
He said, who? I said, to the radio, Randall and Landon.
Yeah, well, Landon just stepped out to get his cup of coffee.
Yeah, I heard him say he's going to grab him a cup of coffee there.
Well, he was making it. I guess it's finally made, so he stepped out of the room, and there he comes back in. We were coming on the air one day, and there's women in our old studios. We up. He's making his noodles. He's got his ramen noodles in here this morning, of course. And he's turning them around where you can catch them on the camera. But anyway, he left out of the studio, went to the break room, doing all his coffee thing, and he waited and waited. He's not back. And a little bit, my phone rang. He says, "Come get me. I'm locked in this studio." Everything is locked. You got to have these little swipe cards to get in and out.
Yeah.
So he had let the door close behind him, and he was stuck in the break room way on the other end of this building.
Uh-huh.
So I had to go rescue him. So every now and then, Dad will rescue the son.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a few times.
Well, I'm aging. It's his turn to protect me from myself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I told Jeremy. I said, I'm 61. It's time for you to start taking care of me, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to have another birthday, and good Lord, these things are getting where
when is your birthday?
I'm going to have a UNIVAC, and only old people know what a UNIVAC is, to figure out how many candles I'm going to need. Landon, the UNIVAC was original computers.
Okay, I was about to look that thing up.
And
I'm a computer guy, and I didn't know what that was.
He was pulling out his phone to figure out what a UNIVAC was.
Is that one of the room-sized ones?
Yeah, it was. You had one that would do almost as much as your cell phone will, and you had to have a whole building to operate it.
Yeah.
It had vacuum tubes.
It's a desk.
Oh, yeah.
When is your birthday?
March the 9th.
March the 9th. Yeah, my niece is March the 12th. Yeah.
I don't think we're kin, though.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that baby's coming up. Oh, my goodness. I can't retire. I'm having so much fun. I shouldn't quit doing this.
Yeah, I got a nephew and a good friend on February the 2nd, which is Groundhog's birthday, so on Groundhog Day.
Okay.
Yeah, then her oldest daughter's is February 29th, and I said, I'll put it on the radio. She said, how old? And I told her. She said, I'm only half of that. I said, yeah, that's what you think.
Hey, you know,
they don't know it.
Woman went to the doctor. He's there doing her thing. He said, well, what's your birthday? She said, June 27th. So what year? She said, every year.
Yeah.
That's right. Every year have one of these things.
It is the same, yeah, every year. That's
what if you have, if there are 365 people in a room, there's a good possibility that, or 366 people in a room, there's a good possibility that more than one person is going to have a birthday on a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But hey, if I was having any more fun, this will be illegal. So I guess this is okay. I get to come up talk about. This time of year, I like to talk about racing, but there's not any going on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When did you say the World of Wheels is going to be? I didn't get to hear that today.
That is the first weekend of February.
First weekend of February.
Second, third, okay. Fourth. I think what the numbers are.
Yeah.
But that's coming up. We'll be the director of the World of Wheels is going to start calling in, and I haven't seen the flyer yet to see who's going to be the celebrity this year.
Yeah, I heard you say that just a few minutes ago.
Landon's over there looking on his phone and see if he can come up with who it is.
February 3rd to February 5th.
3rd through the 5th. There'll be a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, yeah.
So we're excited. We got two cars. Our 53 Corvette will be in there, and then we've got Richard Oettinger's 37 Chevrolet Pro Mod car. It is a blown Hemi engine in it. And
I know Richard, yeah.
All right, and now I say he's going to be. Richard's car is in paint jail.
Paint prison.
He says he's supposed to get it out on the 25th of this month, but he didn't confirm what year.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's supposed to have it out. It had a bunch of pastel, and actually it was a great paint job on the car, but it was pastel colors, and they were just a little bit fluffy. So so anyway, he's headed going to be a shiny black. We hope to have it in there, and we'll be moving in on sometime on Thursday. I think is when our move-in should be our move-in time. What you got, Landon?
I don't know if he's the number one guy, but they say Mr. Salene's going to be there.
Steve Salene?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that'll be good. Steve Salene. You ever heard of a Salene S7?
Oh yeah.
Supercar.
I keep track of Salene.
Okay. Well, that'll be good. You can get your Mustang dash signed if you get a Salene Mustang.
Or if you get like a V6 Mustang and you want to put a badge on it and have him sign it, that's why you know it's legitimate.
At least he did it. now the Shelby cars that Carol Shelby signed. That's some pretty good stuff.
Oh yeah.
They're pretty high priced.
Yep. Well, they were expensive when he's alive. Now, that's my only problem with being an artist. You can't make a lot of money till you die. Well, that ain't going to help a whole lot.
Yeah, that ain't going to help you none.
No. So I'm going to make
Not Landon.
Yeah, I need to make a nickel or two while I'm alive.
Yeah.
That way, I can spend all Landon's inheritance. How about that?
Yeah. Take you a trip in your RV there. Yeah.
Hey, it's about time for one of them coming up. We've got two races at Bradenton, Florida. One the last part of this month, 26 through 8, something like that. got a big pro mod race and got one in mid-March, the $100,000 to win race. Will be going on down. It's invitational only. The one in end of this month, there was about 40 or 50 cars already signed up to run in it. The invitational only that is in March, there was a 32-car invitational field, and they must have lost my phone number because nobody called me. That's fine. They knew better. They got fast cars coming.
Yeah.
But I look good going slow, though.
Well, I get to see more of you that way.
That's it. I'll smile and wave when I go down the track.
Yeah, you can smile and wave, and they can take a picture of you and see you good.
Yeah, we'll get the T-shirt cannon out and shoot hot dogs at everybody.
Oh yeah.
We got to get that thing out this year. We didn't use it much last year, but the T-shirt cannon is coming back out. It'll shoot T-shirts, hot dogs, beads. What else we shot now? Oh, marshmallows. Oh, it'll shoot marshmallows good.
Yeah.
And then the kids eat marshmallows off the dirt.
Well, no, the problem we really ran into was marshmallows would melt into the concrete at tracks.
Well, up at Bayleton, it did good because we shot them into the dirt.
Yeah.
And it was at night, so it really worked out pretty well.
But in Montgomery, when we did it, some landed on the track, and we had to scrape it off.
That was pretty nasty. They were like 900 degrees out, so don't do marshmallows when it's that hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids have to catch them or not. They'll have to peel them off the ground and eat them with half a handful of dirt. Of course, dirt won't hurt you.
Southeastern gassers coming to Laster Mountain this year?
No, they're not.
Well, I'm heard.
Well,
actually, I don't know if anything's coming to Laster Mountain this year.
We do not have our operator for the mountain yet.
Oh.
It is for sale or lease or.
We haven't really convinced Randall to make the plunge.
No, they asked me, "What do you want to track?" I said, "No." That if I had the track, that would mean I had a job.
Yeah.
I worked for over 40 years. I am tired. I don't want to work. Yeah, even a mule turns his butt to work.
Yeah.
How about that? Now, anyway,
true.
we got. I know there's some people negotiating on purchasing the track. I had somebody contact me yesterday, and they're talking about it and trying to put all the numbers together and see if it makes sense for them. But there's been several offers and people wanting to rent it, but we hope somebody that we like really gets the track.
Yeah.
Well, hey, bud, I got music in the background. Just keep in touch. We got to get out of here.
All right, I'll call you this week sometime.
All right, buddy. That's our buddy Keith. We're going to go out and take a break. We'll be right back on DragRace Central. Welcome in to the second hour of
DragRace Central.
Are we DragRace Central?
I believe so. 7:02.
7:02 this January 14th.
Or 10:02. If you're listening to our replay tonight.
If you need to be at work at 7 o'clock, you're late.
Hey, speaking of late, Ray's drive shafts.
Yep.
A little late to the race on this.
Yep. Well, Ray, they've started closing on Mondays. So open Tuesday through Saturdays.
That's what I'm going to tell him. I said I didn't do as much advertising because you're not doing as much work.
No, he's doing the same amount of work. He's just doing
closed to the public.
Doing it in 4 days instead of 5.
Yeah, he might be there on Monday too. He just don't want to let y'all know that.
Well, you can call his cell number because that number we're giving is his actual cell number.
Yeah.
So he
call all times of night.
No,
ask
don't
him
do
how's
that.
day going.
Hey, what are you doing? So I'm feeding the cows. Oh, need a drive shaft. But anyway, he's just give him a call at
give him a call down at 256-572-7485 Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
You can call Ray on Monday too, but he goes into the shop and he'll keep the doors closed and he try to catch up on with
trying to get them drive shafts done.
Yeah, because they stay some kind of busy out there.
Shop's located at 1417 Decatur Highway in Fultondale, Alabama. Yeah, he's the man.
That's it.
Drive shaft guru.
he was telling a guy had brought a drive shaft in out of a ramp truck. This thing's about 20 feet long, you know. So he had it balanced, put new U-joints and balanced it and all this kind of stuff, and it's a multiple piece.
Right.
Well, when you balance these things, they're in phase, but you have to balance them. You put them together and balance them in a certain way, so he marks them. Well, this guy comes back in and says, hey, my drive shaft's vibrating like mad. He said, well, it's balanced. It went to nothing. It's some kind of, he told the brand of it, and he said, these things they're tough to balance. He said, but no, this thing came out fine. He said, well, it's awful. So he says, Ray told us, look, just come in here with the truck, and let's see what kind of trouble you got. So they jacked this thing up. You know, it was a wrecker truck, so you had the little stinger in back. You put down, picked the back tires up off the ground, spun it. He said, sure enough, this thing vibrating like mad. Got up under it, and when this guy reassembled his drive shaft, the chalk mark that he had marked where he lined it, he didn't line it back up. He just put it up in there. And Ray said, well, there's your problem right there. It's
not aligned.
You didn't put it like I had it. He said, well, that don't matter. He said, you put it like I had it, and it'll be smooth. So the guy had tools. He took it apart and put it back together. He said, that thing's smooth as silk. He said, I told you, there's a reason there's a chalk mark.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Those lines aren't for decoration.
That's right. It'd be a barber pole looking thing if it was.
Yeah.
So these guys that do this for a living, you just listen to what they tell you, and it will work out as they tell you it will.
That's the reason he gets paid to do it.
That's it. I walked up with a U-joint. Oh, I know what that is, and just gave me one instead of.
He knows it by smell by now.
Oh man, it was $26. I don't know. It was very reasonable, but he had the one I needed.
Yeah.
That was pretty neat.
Well, hey, you're not only buying your product, you're buying their expertise.
They're buying the knowledge also. It's like, you know, with the torque converters. Well, I got me a 5,000 converter. Well, in real world, it doesn't work that way. I got me the
one he gave me.
Yeah, I told him what I had, and he fixed me up. Well, does it work right? Oh, yeah, it works good. And that's what we call it PTC, and they just give them some spec, and they get you a converter. Well, how much stall? I don't know. It's not important. In real world, you go from low to high, and you want it to change 600 RPM or thereabouts. And if it don't change that much, you need more horsepower. If you can't tell when it changes, you got some other problems. But about 600 RPM is what your kind of RPM drop you're looking for.
Right.
So that works out pretty good.
Hey, speaking of other fantastic products, VP Racing Fuel.
You know, we talked about the additive. You know, that's something we have not spoken about in a while.
Right. Spoken to any extent of.
It comes in a quart. A quart can treats 20 or 30 gallons, but it does raise the gas by 8 full points. So that is we used to use that old 104 octane boost, and let me tell you what it would do. Pull the spark plugs out, and the spark plug tip would be red. I don't know what it did, but it made the tip be red looking. So if we hot rod and you pull somebody pull plugs out, you say you got 104 octane boost in that thing.
Would be phosphorus?
Whatever it was, whatever chemical they used, it raised the octane by 0.8 of 1 point. Ooh. And this stuff is 8 full points.
Hey, we were talking. It finally struck me whenever you were talking to that gentleman about your 55. You said it's a 7/8 55. That's because 1/8 of it is a formal dining table.
A wing.
That's a formal dining table.
Wang. But it won't seat but 2 people.
Yeah.
There's no seats.
Yeah, it's 7/8 55, 1/8 dining table.
That's it. Hey, what do you think about let's go out to our caller?
Let's do that.
Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. How are y'all today?
Well, hey, you didn't have any damage to your place, did you?
No, sir, not at our place, but a few miles from here we did, and real close to where I was at the time working at the co-op. We had quite a bit of damage about a half a mile away.
Well, I saw was it a nursery
Yes.
The nursery was tore up pretty bad up there, and when I saw that, I thought about you, and I got busy. I was going to text you and make sure you was all right.
Well, I appreciate that. Yes, sir. I know that man. He's got a farm out there, a vegetable farm, Llewellyn. He had quite a bit of damage, and on the road he lives on, some of his neighbors had actually worse damage than here. It's pretty bad down at especially one road and places in Moulton. Trees down on houses. They were doing some new construction at the Alexander Park, ball fields and stuff, and some of the new bleachers and new fences and stuff like that got tore up pretty bad.
Wow.
It's quite a bit of damage in places. It looks pretty rough, especially on certain areas.
Well,
the motel got the roof. One of the motels got the roof tore off, most of the front and the back. The metal was tore off the roof. It just looked like the roof metal just exploded.
Well, I believe I saw a video of the tornado hitting that.
Yes.
I did.
They had a view from the car wash
behind
it when the rain was coming, and it hit the other side and blew the metal off, and then blew the metal off a lot of the back also.
Yeah, I saw that. Now, there were no deaths in your area, were there?
No, thankfully. We're very, very fortunate. God looking over us. There was a lot of good bit of damage, but as far as I know, nobody got hurt or hurt bad.
Yeah, I know there were 9 deaths in this storm system.
Not in our area. Yes.
In the Selma, in the Dallas County, which is the Dallas County Raceway. That is there in Selma, the drag strip. It was a lot of damage down there, and I don't know if you heard any of the reports. The deaths were caused by flying debris.
No, I didn't think, but I did hear there were several deaths. I was afraid that might have been what it was.
Yeah, it was flying debris. The debris field as it comes, 2x4s will stick up in a pine tree. This is,
yes.
So
very bad.
Yeah, you got to hide. I'm not scared of a storm, but I really respect it because it won't play.
It is, and we were at work, kind of watched it come in. I noticed, the night before they were talking about some bad weather, and that morning there were some tornado watches, warnings in Mississippi, and I thought, man, it's coming straight toward us. Looked
right.
Like. And sure enough, by around 8:30, it was getting pretty rough. But yeah, we fared through it pretty good. I'm gonna run down there and see if I can, maybe help a few of my neighbors or something, down that way after work. See if I can go help them for a few hours maybe, and
that's
do
great.
Some cleanup. Some of them got hit pretty hard.
Well,
I was gonna real quick. Go ahead.
That's what guys do. We stop what we're doing and go help our friends, our neighbors.
Me too. Exactly right.
Oh, what you got?
I heard you talking about the old 327 Chevrolet this morning. I told you before, I've got one in the shop here, and I've been cleaning my shop out, and I've got to where I can finally get to it again. It's been sitting about 10, 11 years, or more, and I'm going to try to, get it out sometime this spring or summer and see if I can, get it in something and get it fired up and running. I know you need to kind of put a little lube in the cylinder. What would you suggest? Type of oil, or how to go about cranking? Something's got cast iron heads on it.
Yep.
I think 10 1/4 compression, TRW piston. It's built decent, but it's an old build, probably about 30-year ago build.
Well,
but it's been sitting about 10 years.
In my world, Marvel Mystery Oil or transmission fluid.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Yes, sir.
You get one of them old pump cans and squirt some lube in each one of the cylinders. And turn it over by hand. Make sure that I would rotate it quite a bit. And if it's froze up, that's one thing. But if it'll turn, just put some Marvel Mystery Oil in it. And the cool thing is, when you fire it up, all the neighbors will call the fire department. You talking about smoking? Hey, speaking of that, RX-7, the old rotary motors, those things in wintertime, if the way you could tell them need to tune up, it wouldn't crank. It was it ran fine. Everything's wonderful. Reach in and go fire it up, won't crank. They spin over. They don't sound like they got compression anyway. But what you have to do to fix those things, and they won't fire. You take a paint can, like an aerosol paint can, the cap off of it, and about half of it, you pour it in transmission fluid, and you pour that down the intake. So that puts you, 3 ounces-ish of transmission fluid in this motor.
Yes, sir.
All right, you spin it over. Well, you'll hear some compression start. Well, go ahead and put some spark plugs in it. Well, you put a plug, it'll fire right up. But the trouble is, make sure your neighbors don't call the fire department. You never seen so much smoke in your whole life. It'll look like something's on fire. And I've done this probably 10 or 15 times. But it is bad.
About like I cranked the Big Mac, one of the Big Macs at work when it was real cold back around Christmas. It was about 10-degree wind chill, or about -10 that morning, I think. It started, but it made some racket and didn't want to.
Yeah. Well, this smoke, you'll have complete and total whiteout. That's how bad the smoke is. Mm-hmm. It's actually kind of fun to watch that, but
oh yeah, it sounded good at the time. I hope I hadn't let it sit too long. I even thought about taking the intake off and maybe pulling the heads and checking out, see what everything looked like. But it had good oil in it when I parked it or took it out of the car, and it's just been sitting in the shop for several years. Well, I'd like to get her going again.
Pre-lubing it, because the camshaft will be dry. Make sure you pre-lube that thing good. I'd run me a pre-luber in it, and I might pull the intake off and just pour some oil down it. Some of the.
I might do that. I do need to change it. I need to change the intake anyway, and I think I had a little slight leak, or I know I had a crack on it. We had to put a heated coil in it.
Oh yeah.
So I might change it, put me another intake on it.
But
it sounded good when it was running.
Yeah, put some assembly lube.
Sound good again.
Assembly lube on the camshaft, and that way
what was that?
Assembly lube.
Yes.
On the camshaft, and lifters don't appreciate the being dry at all, because you got a flat metal surface on a flat metal surface.
Yeah. And, you don't want the metal on metal.
Well, losing the camshaft is not that hard on a small lot. Now, something else you want to do is check the valve spring pressure.
Yes.
You need, on a hydraulic camshaft, 90, 100 pounds is about what you need.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I got music in the background. When I come back, I'll tell you, I'm going to talk a little bit more about valve spring pressure, but we got to take a break.
Glad to hear it, man.
Hey,
thank y'all. Y'all have a great day.
All right, we'll see you, bud.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, we're going to go out and take a break. We'll be right back on DragRace Central. Welcome back in to DragRace Central. I actually remember where I was at that point.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I'm here, and if it don't matter where here is, as long as I'm here.
You got me. Good point there.
I told you about my old buddy would call me. Charles would call. He said, "Hey, Shue, if I was standing beside you right now, where would I be?" And it took me a little while to figure out he is about a nut, but you'd be right here. He said, "Well, I knew that, but where he is right here." Okay. Hey, Shue, where? Anyway, that was.
Where's here?
I'm here. Will was talking. He was talking about this motor had been sitting up a long time. Making sure that thing is pre-lubed. The camshafts. If they're dry, you got to lube them things up. Valve springs. After they've been sitting a while, the small block Chevrolet. The stock springs. Things get weak, you lose power, and it happens over such a long period of time, and it's so gradual. It's like one day you say, wait a minute, this thing don't have any power. Valve springs go away. It takes, on a hydraulic cam, it takes about 100 pounds of pressure. Now, you, of course, go with the manufacturer's recommendation. But you can buy some real high, real expensive springs, the Pacaloy. I mean, there's some real expensive stuff. It's not necessary. You can get those Z28 springs. They're about $1 a piece, $1.25 a piece. They're very inexpensive, and they'll last. And they'll put you about 100 pounds. And the way you do this, Moroso has a valve spring tester, and I've got one. You've seen the thing. Mm-hmm. It's actually a beam scale that hooks across the rocker arm and pushes down on the valve, and you read beam scale as in torque or in pounds of pressure. That does two things. You see what quality, or how bad your valve springs are. We know they're bad, but we're going to see how bad they are. Also, the fact that the valve will open and close, and it's not stuck in the guide.
Right.
If it sticks in the guide, you bend the push rod, you can tear some stuff up. You want to make sure it's free also.
At least smack all the valves with a hammer.
You can't. Make sure they move.
If one snaps off, that one wasn't any good.
Yeah, because if that tears it up. But you want to just make sure everything's free. But you can take a hose and pump the cylinder and change the valve springs. Very simple. Very with a head on the car, not a big deal at all. Without removing the head from the motor. But make sure your valve springs are at 100 pound or so, and even if the valve springs were low, put it in, fire it up, get it running, and lube everything, get it running good, and then swap valve springs. That way your valve spring pressure is real low on the camshaft. Mm-hmm. It actually saves it. You get everything up lubed up good, and then put your new valve springs in. You can't believe the increase in power. And that's kind of an odd deal the way it'll work. But our race motors, King Kong's pressures, we've got about we're approaching 300 pounds on the seat and over 1,000 pounds open. And then there's some valve springs that require a bunch. Some of the big 800 and 900 inch motors, 950 inch motor have a 1 inch 300 thousandths lift camshaft, and I said that correctly. The valve lift is 1 inch 300 thousandths. That is huge. Now, a set of valve springs are very, very expensive. Those dollar ones will not get it. A set of valve springs are between $300 and $500, and you don't get a lot of time out of like NASCAR. At about 9,500 RPM, a valve spring will turn cherry red. When it turns cherry red, you obviously lose tension on it. And the pro stock guys, if their engine ever hit, this has been years ago, if their engine hit 9,500 RPM, they replace the valve springs immediately. $3,200 for a set of valve springs on a pro stock car. I said that.
You should tell them about the dollar trick. So, hey man, just buy the dollar ones. They're cheap.
Yeah, it won't.
Put 2 of them on there. I've seen stack valve springs.
Stack them, yeah. It still ain't going to work. But I said they're about $3,200. Now, what NASCAR has started to do, they heat treat them. Mm-hmm. The valve springs on NASCAR, because they only run like a 630 lift. It's not a real big camshaft, in NASCAR. But what they heat treat them. The valve springs were $650-ish. I don't know, but they were replacing them every race, and that could get they run them at running testing and all this stuff. You can go through valve springs, just something terrible. They started heat treating these things, and they go through and I think it's a freezing process, and They freeze these things, and it gets the contamination out of the metals. By the time the NASCAR teams get these valve springs, they're $2,400.
Hey, so question: with a lift that large and a valve spring pressure that high, did the camshafts have like a lower lifespan?
No, they're billet. They've gone to a larger diameter, a 50 millimeter diameter. Camshaft, but no, your lifters don't last.
Oh, okay.
You have to go to a bush lifter. But we'll get back to that. The valve springs on NASCAR, $2,400 for a set, but they last much, much longer. And they're actually, the $2,400 was cheaper than the $600 because they continue to last. And you don't lose pressure, drop a valve, and
Well, if you're at $600. It's only got to be used,
500 miles, and they may not make them 500 miles because at 9,500 RPM they turn cherry red.
Right.
when they turn red, obviously they lose their tension off.
They just need to have, let's go ahead and replace the whole head at that point. If you're going to replace all the valve springs after a waste like that. Because is it overheating them?
Yeah, but what they do, the RO7 engine, the valve springs ran in an oil bath. They never got cherry red. They stopped that.
I was about to say, like, wouldn't that cause like some heating issues on the head itself?
No.
If they got that hot?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
But anyway, the valve springs on the big the big inch motor, because you got 950 cubic inches, you got to have a bunch of camshaft, because you're trying to fill a huge that's over 100 inches. 100 inches of displacement in one cylinder. So you got to open that valve early, leave it open a long time to fill the cylinder up.
Absolutely.
And of course, on your blown applications, you don't have that kind of problem.
Forced induction.
Yeah, if you got 60 pounds of boost, it has no choice but flow in there.
Yeah.
So the camshafts are not near as big, and there's your exhaust spring and valve is a lot more important, because how about you got all that pressure in there, and then trying to open a valve against all that pressure. Man, you're tough on some components. Top fuel car, if one of them doesn't open, it blows up.
Yeah.
Physically, and then you lose the blower and it goes bouncing down the track. You got to call Chuck Ford up in Grant, Alabama, to get you a new blower. Because he said, "Hey, you got any more of these?"
He said, "Yes."
Oh yeah.
He's like, "I want mine back too."
A C-rotor screw blower, because top fuel can't run. They run a roots blower.
Right.
A C-rotor roots blower. Give me a wild guess on how much supercharger cost.
60,000.
That's 25,000.
Okay, so I was overshooting it.
That's just the blower. And then you got to have the carbon fiber hat, and there's.
See, I was imagining like the whole package.
No, this is the D rotor. I was thinking D was better. Apparently, the C rotor is the one you're supposed to run. I don't know. I'm learning. It's wicked. 65 pounds of boost. Oh yeah, it may tear up some parts. We're gonna go out and take a break. We'll be right back on DragRace Central. Welcome back in to DragRace Central. What am I doing?
I saw you waving and looking around. I didn't know what was going on. I don't have the same viewing angle as you do.
I guess. Hey, I'm getting old. Wait, maybe I'm waving at myself. I guess that's it.
Yeah, see, I don't have the same viewing angle as you do, so I was confused. All I see the wall in there. I don't see. I
am not waving at the wall.
And then I saw you look over that way, and I was just like, "You waving at the bathroom?"
Well, I could. That's just wrong.
For people watching us when we have this up on YouTube, our camera died.
Well, we're learning with this new high tech equipment. It was $28. But anyway, we found out that the camera quit recording. The card was full. We don't know.
So you got a little over an hour.
Hour and a half.
And it already had stuff on it. So really,
it sure did. But it was nothing exciting.
No. But I'll see what I can get off of it.
Okay.
And we'll have those parts on the YouTube video. This time it'll be a video.
Oh, can you put words? Can you adjust the words to the?
What I'll do is I'll just find the timing just right.
Okay.
Because I know I started that thing around 7 o'clock. A little after 7 o'clock. And so our time slot starts at 7. And so I'll just match those babies up.
Oh, yeah.
And then it'll just continue to follow along, and I'll cut them off at the same times. It'll be...
Well, it could be like some of those old Japanese films with Godzilla and Megalon.
I can do that.
Well, they would...
That's easy.
You see their mouth wiggling like mad, and then they'd talk for a long time, and then it would say, "Oh my gosh, it's a monster."
Yeah.
And there's no telling what all said.
Real terrible dubbing of those videos.
Well, that's all right. But you can't see our mouth wiggling, so we'll be okay. I don't know.
You could.
We don't know what the quality of this video is going to be.
It wasn't that bad. from just what I saw on that screen, and then it's going to be better on.
You put some filters.
Oh, no, it auto cleans it up on YouTube.
Oh, it does.
Mm-hmm. They have a cleanup process on YouTube.
Can you make me look pretty?
I said cleanup. I didn't say miracle.
Oh, that was not very nice. But it's the truth, though. We've got VP Racing Fuel. We need to talk about them. They got several locations.
Vaseline Petroleum?
No.
Oh.
Very fast gas place.
That's going to be their new slogan.
No, but hey, you need some VP Fuel, ladies. We've got Valentine's Day coming up. If you need a present for your honey, now I'm talking to the ladies. If you need a present for your honey, 2 cans of VP Racing Fuel in lieu of flowers or candy.
And fellas, Valentine's Day is coming up, and you know what would make your old lady real happy? If you got new race car parts.
If you buy don't say old lady. You can buy your lovely honey some race gas or some race car parts and ask to borrow them, because she's not going to need them. Sweetheart, I bought you a new carburetor. Can I borrow it?
I used to work with a guy. He said he was going to buy his wife a brand new fishing rod. He was just like, she don't fish. I don't know.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, sweetheart, I bought you the nicest one I could afford. One of the very nice.
I want to make sure I go all out for you.
Yeah, but she's not going to be needing it, so you get her a shotgun. No, don't buy her a gun.
Yeah.
It may go poorly for you. But you at least you can borrow it.
Yeah.
But buy her.
I'll make sure it works good for you.
Or ladies, buy her. Buy your honey.
Yeah.
2 cans of VP Racing Fuel. You'll be hey.
Every day of this month.
He will treat you like the queen that you are. Because if you're a heinous troll, and you buy him some VP Racing Fuel, you get 3 extra points on you the way you look. Just on, you may get 4 points. So if you were struggling to be a 4, you'll be an 8.5. Think about how awesome that would be.
It's kind of like when guys when they buy expensive jewelry. However nice it is, means the more points you get.
Yes, you get some guy points.
Yeah.
You get 2 more notches on your guy card.
There you go.
Man card needs some help every now and then. But just think, ladies, if you were a 6 and you got 4 points, man. We all okay. I better get off this. Don't you think?
I don't think this is going to be VP approved.
But if you buy your honey 2 cans of VP Race Fuel, it don't matter. Everything else is all right.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
Yeah. Go out there. They several locations. The tracks not yet because tracks aren't open.
Yep.
They have Coleman Discount Muffler. They have NVS Auto, Gardendale Performance, and Race Drive Shafts.
Speaking of Gardendale Performance, I did something this week, and you'll need to go out and
I'm going to get a photo of this.
Go out and check this out. You go to Jimmy Wesson's page from Gardendale Performance. Me and Hottie made some T-shirts that said Jimmy's Daycare. We hang around up there a whole lot, a bunch.
I'm surprised they don't make you pay rent at that point.
I was looking to get a paycheck. I stay there so much. But anyway, me and Hottie made some T-shirts that said Jimmy's Daycare. Well, if you go out to Gardendale before Jimmy's, go to Jimmy's, Jimmy Wesson's site, or Gardendale Performance site. Got John Leonard, Stephen Overby, and myself all with our Jimmy's Daycare T-shirts on, and they didn't know that those things were being done. I sent a picture to Robin. Well, we put our shirts on, and we all sitting around there, and Jimmy looked up, and the look on his face, Jimmy's Daycare, that worked out. And on his Facebook page, there were about 40 comments from people wanting to know if it was Huey, Dewey, and Louie, or the Three Stooges, or
are you Larry, Moe,
and Curly? Oh goodness, the president, vice president, and secretary. There were several comments on there, and we deserved them all. but it was fun. We all gave us a good smile, and I made Miss Robin one, and Jimmy also. So we all have Jimmy's daycare T-shirts. That was kind of funny. Every now and then you got to do something fun, and that certainly was fun. Yeah. Also, if you need some nitrous, you go out and take the bottle by Gardner Performance, leave it, and Rick will come by there and pick it up and fill your nitrous bottle up, and have that thing ready to go for you when it warms up enough to go scratch off.
I'm going to share it on our Facebook page as well.
You need to.
I'm working. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm going to say you and the gang in daycare.
We were. They feeds us snacks every now and then. I can't take a nap there, but I will eat a snack. In some that being over with, some bad news. Robbie Knievel, if you know that is Evil Knievel's son, Robbie Knievel passed away. He was 60 years old. He daredevil, did a bunch of dangerous jumps on his motorcycle like his dad, although Robbie's motorcycle had 21 inches of suspension travel, and Evil used to jump on those old Harley XR 750s, had 2.5 inches of travel and no horsepower. Robbie did a good job, and he died of a complication due to cancer. And something else, Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis Presley's daughter, died this week. She was 54 years old, and Robbie was 60. And I thought Robbie was older than I am, but he played hard. He played hard and put it up wet. Oh yeah, he had a good life. We've got the race going on in Bradenton. One of the things at Bradenton, Flow Racing will be doing that, and I think it's probably a subscription thing to Flow Racing. I know I have seen it on Facebook. Flow Racing will be on there, and we watch the races from down there.
Yes.
So that'll be coming up. They do a outstanding job. Talk about how to get to our YouTube channel. That's actually your deal.
DragRace Central. DragRace, one word, Central's the other. We are working on getting all of our previous shows uploaded, because we can't figure out how to upload future ones yet.
Hey, we've tried to do a current one. That's pretty hard too.
Yeah. Getting them. We have a YouTube exclusive on there. That's our Christmas special.
Yeah,
that was the most painful thing we've ever done.
It was special too. Coming up here on the air and talking, just Landon and I talking. We'll have Chris, and we have a lot of guests come in with us. Callers, and it's very good. Doing it in Landon's studio is hard.
Yeah.
That was very difficult. You don't know when to stop talking. Here, they got some music in the background. It tells you when to shut up.
Give you some relief, right?
Yeah, where you can stop and kind of reload. Because I have about probably 15 minutes of information in my head at one time, and I go blank after that.
Hey, a lot of people, obviously, when we leave the show, not a lot of viewers get to see us afterwards, and
it's a good thing.
We are zombies afterwards. Absolutely speechless.
We have used up all the words we have for the whole day.
That's it. Tired.
And speaking of that, I will be speaking at a retirement village coming up in February.
Yeah.
That ought to be interesting. Hopefully we'll make a lot of retirement guys smile. We come up with several names for this, and several of them didn't make the cut. Hottie said, "No, you can't do that." So anyway, we won't put those on there. What I named them. But anyway, we'll talk some more about
Central.
Yeah. We're gonna.
Hey, we talk about our YouTube, our Facebook. It's 101.1 DragRace Central.
And you'll put our Jimmy's.
Somebody beat me to the name.
Yeah.
For just DragRace Central.
There's one Drag Racing Central also. All right, we're gonna go out and take a break. last break of the day. We'll be right back on Drag Race Central. Welcome back to Drag Race Central 747, our last segment here on our show for today. It's been a lot of fun again today.
This one's flying by.
It is. Very fortunate this time of year. There's no racing going on.
Unfortunate.
Well, we're fortunate to have enough to say.
Yeah. With the lack of racing going on.
We hadn't said anything about Wesley's booby trap in a long time. Except, I just said it, didn't I? Well, at this time of year, what are you going to talk about? It's not going to be that, though.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We got a race coming up this month. We don't. Fast people do.
Well, our biggest thing we worry about this time of year, World of Wheels. We've got 3 weeks. Actually, got 2 weeks to prepare for it. If your race car is not ready by World of Wheels, you have been slacking. And I told you about this 1st of December. You'd piddle around till Christmas time, and Christmas time would take, there's a week before Christmas, you won't fool your race car, and Christmas you won't fool your race car, and then it got down to 11 degrees, you didn't fool your race car, and then New Year's happened, and all of a sudden, here we are 3 weeks from the World of Wheels, and your car is not ready.
Hey, have you put rods in yours or fixed that axle seal?
You're breaking up. I can't hear you. Well, getting a set of rods is a several-month process. I have not ordered them yet, and one of the reasons I have not, and I hesitated if we were going to sell the car, I wanted to sell the car with a new set of rods in a box.
Yeah. What about the axle seal?
They're $4. It don't matter.
But have you done it?
Well, no. I got some brake clean.
The World of Wheels.
I got some brake clean.
What is drain fluid out of it? It can't leak then.
Well, that's what an old Pratt & Whitney radial engine. They said if it's not leaking oil, you need to put some in it because they leaked.
Yeah.
You had to turn them over by hand because the cylinders on bottom would all fill up with oil. So you had to turn them over by hand and then fire them up, and a huge cloud of smoke come out of them because the bottom cylinders are all full of oil.
Yeah, oil seepage.
No, it just actually puddle.
It's not seepage.
Of course, that's the way the thing's working. If you spun it over with a starter, you break a rod or actually blow the cylinder off.
Hydrolock it and snap a rod.
No, it would blow the cylinder off because the cylinders were external like a Volkswagen.
Ah,
and
gross.
And if you're in an airplane losing a cylinder, I can see that being a problem.
Yeah.
So they'd rotate that thing over.
That's why you want to break them before you get off the ground.
Well, if you rotate them by hand, you don't mess them up.
Yeah.
You see the old military things. You see the crew chief or the crew out there walking with a prop in their hand. Flick that thing around. You clear the motor out, and then you can fire it up. So, I hadn't fooled. I don't think I've ever flown an airplane with a radial engine. I'm sure I hadn't.
Isn't I heard when you hand start those things, they said if you whatever parts of your fingers you curl over the blade is the parts you'll lose.
No, you lose your whole manhood, everything.
Yeah.
You'll be. I've had a hand prop one. What you do, rotate thing, rotate it around. You confirm that everything's off.
Yeah.
Mag's off, all switches off, and rotate the prop by hand on compression stroke. All right, you go around, turn everything on, make sure the brakes are set and tied down because the pilot's not in there. You leave the tail tied. But anyway,
right.
When you hand prop, you push down and away.
Yeah.
So when you push down and away, even if you mess up, you push yourself away from the prop.
Yeah.
So then you pup, and it won't crank. You walk around, turn everything off, make sure it's off, rotate the prop around,
do a compression stroke,
walk around, reprime it, turn it back on, and hit it again. The pucker factor is there. If I mess up, this is going to be bad. The only thing, and that was spooky. Your mom was in the plane holding the brakes. That was special. But anyway, I had the tail tied down.
Is it just in case she remembered why she's mad at you or something? You're just like, man, this is gonna.
But the second part of that, she didn't know how to fly, so it was going to go bad for both of us. So
she's stuck here too.
She was, I guess she could have bailed out. The only thing worse than that is I had been off flying somewhere and come back in, and I heard a plane over on the apron, which is the apron's like the parking lot by the. You got all kind of the FBO, fixed base operator, right. The store. Anyway, I heard this plane. This thing had her wound up. There was a Beach Bonanza. Beach Bonanza is just as pretty a plane as you could ever want. Mm-hmm. If money were no object, if last night you won that $1.35 billion, a Bonanza is what kind of airplane you'd want. Anyway, so I heard this thing. It was wound up, and I walked over. This guy motioned for me to come. He had forgotten to take the chalk out from under the wheel. The front wheel had a chalk under it. It keeps the wheel from, keeps the plane from rolling off. The arc of the prop was probably a foot and a half from the front wheel, and he motioned for me to pull the chalk. Well, this thing's got a 7-foot tall propeller turning, 1,500. Well, it probably have 1,000 RPM. I don't know.
Yeah.
It hurt. So I motioned, and there's all, in flying, there's all kind of motion you make. I motioned him to cut the engine. He said, no, you pull the chocks. One finger salute, and I turned around and walked off. If, this is my parts that I'm sticking under there. Yeah. If you're too dumb to take the chocks, you ought to have to turn it off and start all over again.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's, I don't work for him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
absolutely.
What's he gonna do? Fire me? Nope, I don't work for him. He never gave me no check.
Good luck.
Good luck, Chuck.
I said, no, you just get out and grab it yourself.
That's right.
You don't want to cut it off.
So he had to.
Yeah.
I don't think he got anybody else walking with the arc of the propeller. That's the pucker factor is there, buddy.
Nope.
World of Wheels coming up.
Yes.
Next week. Adam McLean's going to call in at the 7:00 hours, and we're going to talk more and more about the World of Wheels and all the events and the people that's going to be there, the mainliners. I'm excited.
Mr. Saleen's going to be cool.
It's going to be Friday night. We'll be there from 5 o'clock till 5 to 10-ish. We'll come do the show on Saturday morning and go to Big Bad Breakfast.
Yes.
You need to talk to Big Bad Breakfast while we're there about being our official breakfast location.
Absolutely.
On that day.
Full-time.
On full-time?
Yeah.
Waffle House. Waffle House ain't bad. That's because we're fixing to go to Waffle Jack's here in just a minute.
Waffle House doesn't advertise for a reason. They don't have to.
Ain't that the dang truth?
They're a staple of the South.
That's right. That's a destination into itself. But we'll go to Big Bag Breakfast, and then we'll make it over to the World of Wheels about time, probably around 10 o'clock. We'll be there till 10 o'clock that night, along with some snacks. Gotta
have snacks.
We got a wagon, a foldable wagon. A baby gonna have some snacks, and we'll hide it under the table, so we'll have our own snacks and drinks and.
Them $11 hamburgers. Steep.
Oh my! If you want to,
not even cheeseburgers or hamburgers.
and they wanted a tip. You gonna tip me for what? Selling me a $12 hamburger? I don't think so. Anyway,
I used to walk all the way to downtown by the Alabama Theater to eat every year.
Yeah. So we'll.
But there's also a Subway next door, so.
They do have that now.
It's the Sheraton.
Okay. Well, we'll have some snacks with us where you can go get you some food, and we will have press passes. We'll have enough press passes for our crew.
Right. The four of us.
Kind of excited about that.
There's gonna be more 5-year-olds ever there than any time else.
What is that?
5 and under is free.
Oh, okay.
There's going to be some teenage 5-year-olds in there.
You thinking about shaving?
No.
Oh, no, you're not? Okay. Get rid of that beanie hat. Maybe that'll help.
No.
It's not?
It's cold.
It ain't cold.
It is.
How can you tell?
I am cold.
Okay. Anyway, we've got this World of Wheels. I'm excited about that. First, I've been going. Do you know that me and your mom got married on the Saturday night of a World of Wheels?
Wow. How did they convince you of that? How did they convince you to miss it? Did you go Friday?
No, they had one of those, the dinner, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, rehearsals.
Rehearsal dinner. I missed the World of Wheels one year to get married.
In 82?
81?
Yeah.
It didn't, see, and I'm not married to her anymore, so it didn't help. And what's she going to do, get mad and divorce me? No, she did it anyway. If she's listening, I apologize.
She might. She's in North Carolina right now.
I know it.
So she can.
Well, I know she had said she listens to you on the way back and forth to work sometimes. So we are.
Well, she in her downtime now.
Okay. But that is funny. Look, I hear music in the background. We've had a good day today.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in, and thanks for all of our listeners.
I think you were like, thanks for coming in. I was like, I'll work here too.
Oh, yeah. I'm the luckiest guy in the world to get to work with my son. How about this? I'll replay tonight from 9 to 11. And just remember, the older I get, the faster I'm going to be. See y'all next week on Drag Race Central.